Hello! Today we are here to discuss Pulsar 2849.
That's right.
So this one's been on my shelf for quite a while.
I'm guessing probably about 6 years.
Yeah, it's probably about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get into the discussion on this game that I should have played 6 years ago, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell down there so you don't miss any other opportunities to find out about games we should have played many, many years
Right.
but haven't. So, Rob, what can you tell us about Pulsar 2849?
The reason why I know it's been about 6 years, because this game came out in 2017. Plays 2 to 4 in about 60 to 90 minutes. Overall rank is 244, which is a great score. Rated overall 7.7. Designed by Vladimir Suchy, who's a pretty good designer in my opinion. Art by Soren Medding, published by Czech Games Edition. Several different prices that we got. MSRP is $59.95. Amazon had some for $36.90. Noble Knight had it at $40, which is the cheapest brick and mortar that I found. And Card House had it at $44.99.
Okay. So, yeah, I think this was a deal of the day one time I got it at Card House. So it's probably not quite 6 years, but it's been quite a while.
Right.
Matter of fact, I think the only play of it has been my sister, who borrowed it from me and punched everything. And got
She did a good job of it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the quality of what you get. So in typical CGE fashion, you get a lot of cardboard.
A lot.
It all has a linen finish on it. There's a lot of different
And it's pretty
squares.
thickness, too.
Yeah, pretty good
thickness.
Pretty good thickness. I didn't notice any peeling, which is one of the problems we've seen with CGE, some of the cardboard.
And with it being as old, I don't see any curling either.
Yeah, well, there's no inlay boards, so...
But still, the curling is usually pretty bad, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, you get a big central board that is your galaxy, and it's two-sided, so you have different patterns that you can... One has dead ends, one doesn't. And then you've got kind of a dice placement board, and then you've got these little annex boards that are two-sided, and there's extras, so you can have a lot of variability in the gameplay, because those are kind of like power-ups that you get.
So it's a table hog.
Yes, and then storage for your tokens. You get some plastic for your... These are kind of nice. These are player pieces. Unfortunately, blue looks too much like purple, so
it got stolen
from me. So I didn't get to play blue. I get to play green.
So we called it not blue, just to make him feel better.
Yeah. And then the ships are very much like Galaxy Truckers ships, except for they're see-through. I really think they're pretty.
I do too.
Yeah, all in all, I think the quality is slightly better than a typical CGE game. I'm probably going to give it a 6.5 because it's good cardboard thickness. I do like the unique ships and the tokens, but it's nothing outstanding. There's nothing wows you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, so let's talk about the theme. So this is a very generic space theme.
Yes.
You're trying to harness the energy of pulsars that are out in the galaxy, but that's just one of many ways to score points in this game. So it's almost a point salad game. There's lots of different scoring mechanisms in it, but it's definitely a dice drafting game. And but the theme is pretty much layered on. It could be anything. It's nice that it's space because I like space themes.
And the mechanics fit the theme,
yeah.
But there's no art to the theme.
No.
So,
there's some basic star pattern.
Yeah, but there's really nothing there. So, I mean, maybe the artist was more designed with graphic design. And if that's the case, I think he did a great job.
Yeah, it's laid out smart.
Yeah, it's laid out very well. But the art in of itself is very minimal.
Yeah, it is a table hog.
It's huge.
And which is unusual for a sushi game, but not unusual for a CGE game.
Right.
So it's kind of balanced out. I'd say, as far as theme, because it is space, I like space. It's kind of, I admit it's a biased opinion, but I'm probably going to give it a 7. I don't see anything art-wise that just wows you, but I do like, I think it's a pretty pattern with the stars on it. And I think it's structured in a way intelligently enough that it's easy to access everything.
Yeah. I'm going to go maybe just a little bit higher because the mechanics, even though we'll talk about gameplay, the mechanics fit the theme really well. Everything you do makes sense, and I like that a lot thematically. So I'm going to give it a 7.5.
All right, so moving on to the rulebook. So the rulebook is, there's actually a rulebook, and then there's a technology guide. I thought that was really handy to have. And then there were some little cheat sheets that everybody got.
Which it did help, especially for scoring. So in-game scoring.
And round end.
But round end helped out a lot as well.
So the rule book is 20 pages. It's got a really nice cover that matches the front.
Box.
Yeah. It does got a lot of creases and bins. I don't know if that was from this player.
We'll blame it on Rhonda.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Rhonda. it's got a nice component list on the first page, then an overview. Very pretty art in the rulebook, actually. Maybe that's where the art comes in.
Maybe a picture from or something.
Setup's really clean and clear. There was no confusion at all. Actually, in this whole rulebook, I didn't see any problems or confusion. CGE always.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we've ever had any problems with CGE rulebook.
Yeah, I mean, it is divided nicely. Yeah. Everything's very simple to find.
I really do like the artwork in the book.
Yeah, the book is actually the best art in the game. Yeah, so that kind of looks like the Cygnus from Black Hole there. Yeah.
Well, I was saying the same thing with some of the bonuses that you can get that look like the Cygnus.
Yeah, so all in all, I think they did an excellent job on this rulebook. The only thing I guess that could be a complaint is the headquarters. I think there really should be part of the game, which I don't like variable player powers, but it's.
I thought you liked variable player powers.
No, only if they're balanced well. I like them if they're really well balanced.
I really like asynchronous.
They're the things that can break a game the easiest.
It can, but that's any game.
But they put it into the book in the middle of it, and it's also mandatory that it's on some of these tiles.
Yeah, so it would have been nice for that. There was at least 2 scoring sections that we could take advantage of.
But it tells you the first time to play to leave them out.
Yeah, leave them out.
So, and it's really not that confusing. You probably could include them. If you're novice gaming, I would probably leave them out. But I think we could have picked it up just fine.
Even then, I think even if you're just starting out, it wasn't that complicated of a game.
Yeah. So, I would have probably included them just because it looks like it's really integrated into the gameplay.
And the scoring board here would have been nice.
Yeah, because 2 of the options we ran into would have required you to have that. That's
why I'm blaming that I lost the game.
And the end of game scoring was very clear. 2-player game, 3-player game variants are on the back, and it's got an icon index. It's really laid out as best I think it can be.
Yeah, it's a great rulebook.
I'm probably going to go ahead and give this a 9. I don't think there's much you can take off from it.
And it's pretty.
Yeah, and it's pretty. All right. So moving on to gameplay, you've got 4 different entry points to choose from, and you're supposed to draft based upon turn order reversed. You choose which entry point. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. We just pick the ones that were closest to us because all the tiles are face down. You don't know what you're going to run into anyway, and they're all pretty much evenly distributed.
It probably would make a difference on the other side if you had dead ends. Yeah. On this side, it didn't.
Yeah, because there's some pros and cons of dead ends because you get a bonus for getting claiming a dead end, but you have to turn around and come back.
Right.
So I think there's really no advantage strategically for picking any entry point because they're all distributed pretty evenly across the board. And then you get a distribution of dice. The first there's a variant that tells you to put 1 through 6 one die, but there's 9 gray dice depending on player count.
Right.
And you roll just the ones that are remaining. So the first turn there's an even distribution of the dice as close as you're going to get. The standard game, you don't have to do that, but you roll all of them from turn 2 anyway. You're going to roll all of them, and that's the drafting pool. Then you've got tokens for your color that are lined up on 2 different tracks. One is the turn order track, and then the second one is your income in these engineering cubes that you use.
We called it resources, but it's engineering.
They have a few different purposes in the game, but the main one is you can spend 4 of them to take advantage of the leftover die that is not chosen.
Gives you an extra action.
Yeah. So it gives you 3 actions on your turn instead of 2. You can never get more than 3 actions on a turn because there's multiple ways to get a bonus die.
But you only get
one bonus die no matter what. So the most you're going to get is 3 actions in a turn, and there's 8 rounds in the game. So you're going to go through, on your turn, you have multiple different things you can do with those dice. So when you're drafting the dice, we're going to put these out here, some 2s, 4s. This is one of the most unique aspects to the game. I really like this.
I did too.
Let's see.
Because we'll talk about why I liked it here in just a second. So it was really interesting.
5. So basically, first of all, you're going to determine where the median is. There's 9 dice, so the median is going to be where the 5th die is, which is right here where the 2s are, because we got 3 1s, 2 2s, a 3, 2 4s, and a 5. Then you're going to look to the sides and see, are there more dice on one side or the other? And if so, it's going to skew it 1/2 a position over. So now when you draft dice, If you draft from the left side of this yellow marker, you can either go up on the turn order or the engineering cube track, and you will get whoever's first, second, and third on the engineering cubes will get 3, 2, or 1. If you're last, you don't get any. As Miranda found out painfully the whole game. She was last on that track the whole game almost, and she got nothing until the very end.
Right.
So, I thought that was a really unique design on the drafting, and then the one that's left over is the one that you can choose to pay 4 energy cubes to actually use as a bonus die.
And vice versa, if you go to the right of that marker, then you have to decrease in that track. Yeah. Which isn't that big of a deal unless you get all the way to the end of the track.
Yeah, at the end.
Get all the way at the end of the track, you're going to lose points.
Yes, there's negative victory points, and that can be very painful and hard to get out of.
Because it was, for the most part, Randy ran away with it for most of the game, but for the rest of us, it was pretty tight. Yeah. And we stayed pretty close to each other. So if you lost just a couple of points, could have made a big difference.
Yeah. So after everybody's drafted, then you play all of your dice you drafted in one fell swoop. So you don't go one action at a time around or anything. So you're going to choose the actions you can take with your numbers you've got. And one action is to move your ship. Now you have to move your ship the full pip count of that die. You cannot move it less or more unless you use, there's a +1 or -1 token, and there's a +2 token. You can spend one of those to alter the pip count of the die, but that's the only thing you can do. And you cannot stack them. So I can't even stack them on the board.
Physically.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you cannot stack them on top of each other. So you can't use a 1 and a 2 to make it a 3, a 6. Yeah. So you got to be selective on what dice you choose because you know you're limited on what you can do. So moving your ship, you want to land on these or planet spaces. Typically, they're going to be starting out face down. You don't know what's in that solar system, and you're going to discover it if you land on it or pass over it. Now, if you land on or pass over it, you can drop one of your ships there, but it has to go on a dead planet, which there's some live planets that look very Earth-like, and then there's some dead planets that are brown. You can drop one of your tokens on that brown planet, or if there are no brown planets, then you can drop on one of the Earth-like planets, but you won't get the bonus for that space. You can just pass through. Then if you land on the space, however, when there's a bonus pictured on the tile that you will gain if you choose to do so, or you can choose blind draw the top one of these tokens and get the bonus, which are typically victory points. There's a few that have a few other quirks in there, and one that gives you a bonus planet, which is really nice.
Yeah, you got it.
Well, there's 2 like that.
Oh, okay.
Miranda got the first one. But yeah, you can get additional points because the more planets you populate, the more scoring there is. There's like an increase up to the dramatic increase up to 13. You can get 50 bonus points at the end of the game, and then 3 more for each one after that. So collecting your tokens on planets. Now, all your tokens have to go on different planets. You can't, or different solar systems.
Yeah, so you can't have 2 in the same one.
Yeah, so you have to discover the board as much as you can. Now, in addition, there's also these pulsars to land on.
It's the name.
Yes, and when you land on one, you get to place one of your little rings on that location. So if I were to move here, I could put one here. Now, the pulsars take 3 steps to activate. The first thing is discovering it, landing on it, placing one. You also have to acquire these tokens. They have ones that have 1, 2, and 3 on the face of them. These tokens can be acquired by spending dice up here, or some of the locations will give them to you.
Quite a few of them, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I graded. I only had 3 planets, but I only had to buy 1.
Right.
The other ones I got from either playing on this board that we'll talk about, or I got as a bonus for discovering a solar system.
So there's lots of different ways to acquire them. And when you acquire one, if you already have a warp on the board, you can just simply place it in there. But it's under construction, so that it's still not complete.
Because each one of them has a dice prerequisite.
Right. And so in this case, this one requires a 5, so I'd have to spend a 5 die. And if I did, I'd flip it over. And now I've got a level 2 that is going to generate 2 victory points every round for me. In addition, each round there's a bonus based upon
possible bonus. There's a couple zeros too, but it's going to be worth victory.
Yeah, so each token gets that bonus on top of that. And one of the token bonuses has got a question mark, and it's based upon the die roll, because the median of your dice, wherever that is going to determine how much that's worth. And just so happens the round we landed on that question mark, Miranda rolled ridiculously high.
Right.
And we ended up with a median of 5. So she had like 3 active warps, and she got like a ton of points from that round because she got 5 bonus for each one of those tokens, which was ridiculous. Pulled her up way up into the first or second place there. I think she was right behind me. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to score points in this game if you haven't picked that up.
Yes.
So that's the main things on the board. Now, the other actions you can take is there's these transmitters that you can take. Then the transmitters have dice pictured on them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they have 1 like this one. Sometimes they have... Oh, she had a bunch of ones. This one has 2. So I think they have the max is 3. I had one that had 3.
I never saw 3, but almost all mine had 2.
Yeah, here's my 3.
Okay.
So there's going to be 3 of these turned up every round, and you can if you match any of the numbers on that space, you can claim the tile, and you put one of your discs on whichever number you use. And then from that point forward, you can spin dice to fill the other numbers.
To finish building it.
Whenever you finish it, you will get in many cases, an immediate benefit if it's got a blue section on it. And then it'll also have green, which gives you ongoing income. So these are really nice. The other thing that these do is they have little dice edgings on them. So these have pips on there that if you connect it to another die and you finish both, when you first place it, you will get to take this red die and set it to the pip count. Like in this case, it's a 3 and a 3, so it's 6. And you get a bonus die, assuming you didn't already get a bonus die. So you don't want to do that and waste the pips on it if you've already used a bonus die.
Right.
So you got to be selective when you choose to do that.
And you got to place it as soon as you get it.
Yes, you have to choose where you're going to play it. So if I take that and play it,
assuming you want the red die bonus.
Yeah. If I play it somewhere else, like over here, I could start another chain, but I can't choose later on to add it. It's now locked in as a separate chain. So you've got to make a lot of decisions on how you're going to strategically arrange those, and as another element to the game. The other thing you can do with the dice is you can spin them up here on this basically round board that has different actions on them. And they'll have 1 or 2 spaces on them depending on the space. But you can choose to place the die, and then you will get a permanent ongoing benefit, or sometimes it's a one-time effect.
So yeah, there's some in-game buffs that it will do. There's immediate effects, and then there's some that are ongoing.
Yeah.
So it's got a little bit of everything, which is really cool. And this is where I got a lot of my points from.
Yeah. And then at the end of the game, you have 3 gold tiles that are in-game bonuses that you can acquire. In this case, one of them was based upon this chart up here. One was based upon the different...
you had to have 2 different... Pulsars. And then the other one was about
how many planets.
Planet Chat.
So... yeah, all of us at least got one of those bonuses. And then what's really cool about those is not only can you get the bonus for accomplishing it, but you can spend these cubes at the end of the game to buy additional victory points from those tiles, assuming you accomplish that goal. So that's how you really scored a lot of points.
I did, because I had it too. So not only did I complete 2 of those, but one of the bonuses up here gave an additional 2 for each level. So I scored quite a bit of points on that.
Yeah, so you caught up very closely to me at the end of the game when you were trailing quite a ways behind me and Miranda.
Well, at one point, it was pretty close for most of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got a bunch of points for scoring planets.
Yes.
And he went way out there. And so I think I lost by 12, it looks like. And so, and big part of that was just the amount of planets that you had.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things, you can't do everything. So you have to choose what you're going to specialize in and where you're going to get the most bang for your buck on points. I focused on these transmitters that gave me victory points. I focused on claiming planets, which gives you a lot of victory points at the end, but also if you choose not to take the tokens on it or whatever's pictured on it, these are all pretty much pure victory points over here. So that's what I took most of my actions.
And I focused on these as well, like he did, but I focused more on this track. And one other scoring we didn't talk about is that you got these building bonuses for the Pulsar. So if you get 2 of the same number and you're the first one, you get 7.
Yeah.
And then if you do it, the second person will get 4. And so
nobody gets, there's only 7
and 4. So there's only 7 and 4. So there's some scoring there. I did one of those. I completed. Yeah. So
and there was a bonus that was relevant to that as well.
Yeah, there was a bonus that was relevant to that. Gave you an additional 5.
So So when you see the bonuses that are available, you might help guide your
Right.
strategy. I kind of ignored all that because unfortunately the transmitters were not a part of the bonus this time.
And he was enamored by all the planets.
Yes. Well, the planets were one.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm not going to get the one up here, and I'm not going to probably get the pulsars because Miranda was dominating that. So I got what I could from each of those areas and then got out. So yeah, I really thought there was a lot of clever design for this as far as how it's put together. I love lots of different options to score, yet, the strategies, yours and mine, differ quite a bit, but yet we're pretty close in score.
But it wasn't a brain burner either.
No.
So I call it a straight, maybe not light to medium, but straight mid.
Yeah,
I'd say straight medium.
It's a medium.
And so it was really clever. I think it had some elegance to the design to it.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I think it's probably one of my favorite Suchy games
I agree.
I've played so far.
It's really good.
I was really surprised how much I like this game. I'm probably going to give this one 8.5.
At least at 8.5. I was pleasantly surprised. I don't have it, and I think I might buy it because I like it that much. And so it's just really good. And I think it's something that'd be easy to get out to teach others, and I think they would have fun playing it too.
Yeah. So that's our thoughts on Pulsar 2849.
Yep.
I don't know if you've tried it, what your thoughts are.
Let us know.
Yeah, if you've got other sci-fi themed games that you really enjoy, let us know what those are.
Or other Suchy games that you like a lot.
Yeah, we're always looking for other sci-fi or
and
Suchy
we like
games.
Suchy.
I think we have most of Suchy between us, though.
Yeah.
So, tell us what you think.
Yeah,
and,
let us know.
Let us know, and we'll hear from you and talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.